Hi there. Before wiring up our temperature controller, I'm going to create a wiring diagram so that we know where the wires are supposed to go and we can ensure we have it all right. In order to create the wiring diagram, I'm going to use a package called KeyCreator, which is a CAD package, and the first thing I'm going to do is recreate the schematic for the temperature controller in there. They provided me with a schematic here. Let's get started on recreating that in KeyCreator. Okay, first thing, I'm going to create a couple boxes to represent the wires that are going to be input for the heating element and the temperature control. Now that we have those in place, I'm going to make a couple representations here for the switch on the heating element one to show that it's a switched circuit in there. Use a couple circles for that. Let's go ahead and create the box that represented the temperature controller. And connect the wires. Just going to draw an open switch wire on this side for the heating element. And just connect the wires through for the temperature probe. Now let's copy this because there's a heating and a cooling and they're both switched. Then we copy these first two boxes over for where our power input is to the device. So we know what's what here. Cooling was on the far right. Heating was next, going to the left. Here's the temperature sensor. And the power supply, which is 110 volt AC. Okay, now let's put on our master label. It's the Lerway STC-1000 temperature controller. And we'll get that placed Let's place that up top. And then let's create a thicker box around all this so we know this is one unit. Okay, these were numbered on the schematic they gave us, so let's put some balloons in here, numbering from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And there we have the schematic recreated in KeyCreator. Now that we have the schematic for the temperature controller itself, let's go ahead and create the representation for the outlets that we're going to use and for the power supply coming in and the main switch. To represent the outlet, we'll place two rectangles to represent the two prongs. We'll place a circle for the ground of the outlet, and then we'll put a little box around it, obviously, to keep it contained, as in this is one unit. Now we want to make a copy of this representation because we're going to have a heating outlet and a cooling outlet. So we'll just select everything and copy it down. Making the rectangle to represent the incoming power supply and the main switch. I'm going to make the lines a little bit thicker to match the thickness of the temperature controller's box. We'll go back to the thinner line representation in order to represent the two circles and the lever for the switch. And oops, made my box a little too small there. So let's just move that out and make it bigger again. Okay, again, let's make a couple more labels so we know what it is that we've placed into our schematic drawing. So we have the main power supply, which again is 110 volt AC. Let's make that size a little bigger. The main switch was this one. And there we have all the components that we're going to need represented in our drawing. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll lay out the wiring part of the diagram so we can get everything hooked up properly. After that, we'll get the control box and the components and put it all together. Thanks again, and have a good day.